Hi, I'm Rika, and welcome to Inspiring Africans. And today I've got Kani Kenyi. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I just want to ask you first of all, what do you study, Kani?
At the moment, I'm just studying. I'm doing Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and Islamic Studies at Griffith.
So, why, arts?
Why arts? Good question. I don't even know if I have enough time to answer why I picked the degree arts, but I think for me personally, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to get there, and I tried different areas of studies, but I kind of felt like with arts degree, it kind of gives me the time to work on myself, to build who I want to be, and at the same time give me the tools that I need to go out there and start a career if I need to. So I think that's why I picked arts.
So who do you want to be?
Who do I want to be? I don't think I want to be one person. I might actually have multiple personality disorder, because for me personally, I think in the future I want to be someone that's in a position to be able to help those people, to help people in need. Like, I really want to help my community. So I'm not sure if I want to be a change, like an agent for change or whatever I want to be. But all I know is that the person I want to be has to be someone that has the resources, the skills, and the knowledge to actually be able to help my people and help those in need.
So helping your people, would that be just Sudanese, or are you focusing in one region and then you intend on, I guess?
Yeah, I think when I talk about helping my people, I think personally I'm focusing mainly on Sudanese people, because that's all I know, that's who I'm familiar with, and that's my that's my background, But at the same time, I think from my personal experience, when I say my people, I just want to help refugees in general, whether they be from an African background, whether they be from Middle East, and wherever they are. I just feel like, I really want to be able to help refugees and to help them settle in, and to help them make use of, the new life that they have and all the stuff, the opportunities that they have.
How did you come up with arts? How did you decide?
Okay. Deciding what I wanted to study wasn't easy. Like, for me, it's from high school. I've always been that one type of person that I plan a lot of stuff. Like, for me, my life had to go according to a certain plan, because if they don't go that plan, I have a panic attack. I'm like, oh my god, I'm failing. Oh my god, I'm failing. So I didn't really, arts was not in my, it wasn't in my agenda. I didn't think I was ever going to study arts. From high school, I wanted to do social work, and I wanted to do youth work. And when I first got into social work, I was like, yes, sweet, this is what I wanted to do. And then one day, my family and I took a trip back home. Since we arrived in Australia in 2002, I've never been back home, so I went back home in 2012. And when I went there, I was I think I was finally hit with the reality of what life is for people living in developing countries. I've always knew what it was like, but I think I've been away for so long, and I came here so young that I kind of forgot. It kind of seemed like a world that was so far away. So when I went back home and I was talking to my cousins, and I was, we're just getting along, and we were talking, and these girls were they wanted to go to school, they want to do this, and I was like, don't worry, we can go, because they that time they were on their break. I was like, before your school starts, we'll go buy you guys pens, paper, whatever it is. And then it finally hit me that, went to the shop, we bought all this stuff, we came back home, and these girls wanted to study, and it was nighttime, there was no power, there was no light, and I was like, okay, if I was back at home, I could easily just switch on my light and I could carry on with my study. I think that time there, I knew, I was like, you know what, I don't want to do social work anymore. Social workers, they're needed, they're wanted, but I don't want to do it anymore. I feel like I had a higher calling in life, and I need to be able to be in a position where I can change policies. And I didn't know how I was gonna get there. I didn't know, I didn't think I could ever go into policy making directly. So when I came back, I started looking into my research. Okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And then I came along Bachelor of Arts. I was like, okay, arts degree, nothing fancy. And then I looked into sociology, and I was like, I did one unit in sociology, and then from then I was hooked. We started talking about people, about society, theories, and I was like, okay, you know what? I could use this knowledge to form something, because I'm still young and I don't know stuff, so I could use this stuff, and I could build a foundation from this. So that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to give Bachelor of Arts a chance.
So, Bachelor of Arts, majoring in Islamic studies, is it?
Yeah, I'm also majoring in Islamic studies.
Okay. How's that like? What are you gonna get out of that? What do you now have got from that?
Okay. I think when I first saw Islamic studies as part of a major, I was like, oh, Islamic studies, okay. You know, like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I grew up, if anybody knows Sudanese people or know our history, we have the north and the south, there's like a huge division there. Islam and Christians, a huge division there. So like, I grew up in a culture that we knew Muslims, we knew of Muslims, we've heard of them, we share a lot of culture with Muslim people in Sudan, but I never really knew them. So when I saw Islamic studies and just coming straight from, you know, I said I took a trip back home, coming straight, I was like, you know what, maybe it's time I learn about Islam, you know. So when I went there, I thought we're going to be doing stuff like learning the Quran, learning all this stuff, because I was like, this is a complete different world to me. But we actually started learning Islam from the grand base. We started learning about the religion, we started learning about the people, the culture, and how Islamization went around the world, and, you know, all the mini civilization that they brought about. And so when I started, oh, this is actually really interesting. And for me, I think choosing that major was really personal, because I grew up not in a household, but I grew up in a place where they always teach me like, oh, Muslims are this, Muslims are that. Like, I always hear second-hand opinion, but I never really had the chance to, like, you know, to decide for myself, oh, Kani, Muslim people are this, Muslim people are that. So I was like, you know what, if I actually want to go back home one day and I want to be able to be this agent for peace or an agent for change, I need to be able to understand Muslim people and to understand how they work, because we have a lot of Muslim population back in our country. I have some of my friends here are Muslims, so I need to be able to understand them from a core, like from an insider perspective, instead of being like, oh, I watch the news, Muslim people are this, I did this. I was like, you know what, that's why I chose to do Islamic studies also.
Do you think you can give back?
I think once I get my head around stuff, like once I actually get down, focus, and finish my degree, I think I can give back. Like I feel like I'm now in a position, like even maybe if I'm not giving back on a worldly level, like I'm not going out there traveling, making change, doing all this stuff, but on a personal level, I feel like because of what I study, I'm a different person. Like I'm able to look at people as people. I no longer judge someone based on that religion or that race. Like, you know, those stuff are just like, I look at them like, you know, they're just like, they're part of us, but they're not really who we are. Like once you take religion away from us, once you take where we're from, our background, our race, all this stuff, we all bleed red. So I feel like on a personal level, yeah, I can still make change, but on a worldly level, I'm still working towards that, because my degree has allowed me to, like, it has given me tools that I can actually go out there and I can build stuff. I can decide, okay, today I wanna have an organization. I can go ahead and I have the resources and the knowledge to build a foundation for that organization if I want to go ahead and do it. I can go into a workplace, like a workforce, and I have the knowledge and the resources to be able to, like, you know, to work there and to benefit that workplace. So I do feel like I am in a position now to make a change.
I was actually gonna ask, what is arts?
What is arts? Good question. I feel like with the Bachelor of Arts, I can't really explain what it is exactly, because it can be arts in creative arts, and the same time it can be art as in social science, arts as in law, arts as in history. It's literally just a degree that gives you skills that you're gonna need, that you might need to go out there and start yourself up. So like you get to choose what you want to major in, the stuff that you want to do. So I'll use myself as an example. When I did Bachelor of Arts degree, when I tell my friends, oh, I'm doing arts, they're like, oh, Kani, I've never seen you paint before. And then I have to explain, guys, this is not what it is. So like when the arts that I'm doing is pretty much just social science and humanities, and that's sociology and Islamic studies. So the sociology aspect just focuses on, sociology pretty much just focuses on society and the people in it, and like, you know, how institutions and everything that govern us comes together. And then Islamic studies pretty much, it's not really the study of Islam. It is the study of Islamic, the religion, like the religion itself, but also the study of the people, like Muslim people, Muslim culture. And because everyone thinks of Islam one thing, when you think of Islam, you're like, oh, Middle East. But that's wrong, because research shows us that there are more Muslim in Indonesia than there are in some Middle Eastern countries, and now there are more Muslims in Australia than there are in some Middle Eastern countries. So like, it's pretty much what I'm doing. The arts that I'm focusing on is just people in general, the study of people in society.
So by studying people, is that something you do practical, or how do you study people?
Well, in the beginning, mostly it was just theory based. So I remember my first year through to my second year, we were pretty much just going over theories. We're learning about the Marx and doing this, 1600s, 1800s, reading into and just learning about how society was back in the days. And it was really boring, but for someone who wants, like, for someone like me, because I really want, like I said before, I want to be able to like make change. I find those information very valuable to me. Like, it's good for me to be able to see, okay, in 1600 society was working like this, like this, like that, and to see society working like this today, and then to find a grand base and be like, what, okay, we've come this much, we've come this far, what can we do and how can we change it? So I feel like if we ever want to make change in the future, we have to understand history, we have to understand the past, we have to understand how people back there worked their way up to the way they are today. So like, yeah, it's theory, but when you go out there, like I remember my first time I learned, I can't remember that theory that we learned, but it was something that stuck with me. Like, we were in class, I learned about it, I went home and I could actually observe. I was talking to my sister and I was like, damn, I swear to God, I just learned about what she's doing today in class. And it's those small things I'm like, oh my god, yes, I can't wait to be a sociologist. Like, it's those small stuff that keeps me like, yeah.
So through this degree, do you ever think twice, or have you thought twice about what you're doing and ever thought of quitting?
I wouldn't know one university student who hasn't thought about quitting. Like, those long nights, 5 month drinks, writing those essays, like, I think I do think a lot of time about quitting, and especially I do question whether what I'm doing is good, like whether I could be out there doing more stuff. And I feel like today's society, everyone loves labels, and a lot of art students, I'm not sure, maybe it's just me that I feel like, we're not given the credit that we deserve to be given. You go, oh, I'm studying arts, oh really, what's arts, like, but I feel like I'm like, oh, should I be doing business? Should I be doing nursing? Should I be doing something that's more like, Pacific, like something that people are familiar with? So I always question whether, am I doing the right thing? And I have thought about quitting, like, I don't know if you know, but like, you do know. Like, student life is not easy, and I'm here by myself, I'm studying, I'm working, and it gets really hard. So I do quit and oh my god, should I just leave uni for like 6 months, work for 6 months, get myself up and go back to uni? Because it gets hard working, trying to maintain a social life, then trying to keep up with your university life. So I have thought about it, but like, I know I still can't, like, I am a quitter. I've quit, so I quit soccer, I quit a lot of stuff, but this is one thing that I feel like, I can't quit. I've started it and I've came too far. Like, even if it was just 6 months, I'm like, what, Kani, you started this journey, you can't quit now. And I look at my family, for example, like, I think a lot of refugees kids out there feel the same way about me. Like, our parents, their main goal was to bring us here, and whether it was to escape the war, whatever it was to escape, was like to bring us to, like, what, my kids are gonna get the opportunity to study. And my father, he values education so much. So like, I remember telling him, like, oh dad, I'm going to uni. He didn't even care what I was gonna do. He was just like, yes, you're going to uni. I was like, I didn't know I want to study. He was like, no, that's the first step. He thought about going to uni, So like, every time I think about, I want to give up, then I think about my parents, and I think about, the sacrifices that my dad has made in the years to just come to Australia. And I'm like, I can't just quit because the assignment piece got too hard, because life got too hard, because being a student is so, like, you're so broke. I can't do that, So I just, I have things that keeps me going. But yeah, that thought crosses my mind. But again, I know what I'm doing is what I want to do, and I know that in the future it's gonna value me, whether financially or whether, like, whatever it is, I'm gonna get something out of it. So like, I don't look at it like, oh, I'm wasting my time. Look at it as an investment, because really, I'm in my 20s. If I'm not studying, what else can I be doing? Like, either way, I'm investing in myself. That's how I look at it.
So what do you intend on getting out of this degree, or what do you want to do after?
I think for me right now, what I want to do after is I really want to get into research. Like, I think the sociology and the Islamic studies has really helped me build a foundation where I can start doing research. And I'm lost.
What kind of research? Like,
I think coming from a refugee background, I really want to focus all my research to be just from a refugee experience, and because it's like with the majors I'm doing, so like sociology and Islamic studies, I've had to do a lot of research, a lot of readings, and what really got to me through all the research I've done was a lot of this research that were conducted was done by someone from an outsider perspective. Like for example, it will be a white male interviewing the African community or interviewing the women, the children, and I always felt like there was something missing, And then so for me, after all this stuff, I'm like, hopefully when I graduate, I can do either my honors or go ahead and do my masters in something to do with like other research or get into something like that, because I just kind of feel like there's a gap, there's a huge gap in between. I feel like it's time that we are heard from, like we tell our stories by ourselves, So I kind of feel like if being the person I am, I'm young, I'm a woman, I'm from a refugee background, I'm Sudanese, and I could probably connect to like if I'm going to interview someone, I could speak to them in a different language, we could code switch and that would be easy. So I feel like, I can give a lot back to my society by that, and I could give them a space to share their stories, to share their experiences, and that could help them. And in the long run, I could do research for like government agencies that can help them, like, help refugees settling and know what refugees need, instead of just, research that's conducted by an outsider. It doesn't really give you what you want to know, Like I feel like being someone from that community, I could actually give something back to them, like giving them a space to share their story and their experience.
And as you share your story, I want to ask, is there something that you think in all you said, about the degree, about this journey, of studying, that you would want to share with someone? What would that be?
I think if I was to meet someone, like I always tell most of my younger brothers, my cousins, like, I think it is about the journey, but it's just about that one step that you take. Like if I was to meet anyone today that wants to decide where to go to university or not, I would just tell them go for it, Find out what you want to do. If someone's saying it's not what you should do, don't think about anybody else. Don't think about the money. Don't think about the careers you're going to get out of it. Don't think about any of those stuff. Just find out what you want to do. Get into it and do it. And if you didn't get the right, is it 8 task course, you didn't get whatever it is, don't let that stop you. At the end of the day, it's just numbers. There's multiple ways. You can go through TAFE. You can do diplomas. You can go to that uni and be like, what, my name is so and so. I didn't get into this uni, but what can I do to get into there? Like show them that they're not gonna stop you just because of a piece of paper. And like for me, this journey as a university student, it's hard. It feels like it's forever, but it's so much fun. Like I'm young, and I feel like, right now, what else could I be doing if I'm not studying? I'll either be working, but you can work your whole life. Work is never going to run away. Money is always going to be there. You could be like, oh guys, I'm focusing on work right now, I'll study next year. Next year will come and that job will still be there. But your years is not going to be there. So you might as well just go there, study, invest in yourself, come back. That same money that you're looking for is still going to be, those same jobs are still going to be there. There's going to be more jobs created. So I feel like, don't limit yourself. If I was to talk to anyone, start your journey, because for me, this journey has really been eye-opening. I didn't come from high school doing what I want to do today. I think if my friends saw me from high school, they'd be like, oh, Kani is studying something else. This is not what she said she wants to study, I discovered myself along this journey. I found out who I was. I learned about myself. I learned about culture. I know people, and university has just given me a space to be myself and to be the best version of me, So if I was to meet someone, I'd be like, just start your journey. Start today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till tomorrow. Next one, I would just start right now. Do what you gotta do to be the best version of you, I guess.
There you have it. I think it's all about passion. Yeah. And if you're interested in it, don't worry about your capacity, because you'll get there one way or the other. Yeah. And listening to you, I think it's not a path that everybody takes. Yeah. I even thought arts was maybe about painting, but I guess I've learned a little bit more that arts is more general, and that we can open our eyes by doing such broad things, because we'll learn a lot more. And thank you so much, Kani. It's been a pleasure to learn a lot about arts and to be actually inspired by a young woman. And I look forward to any of the research you're going to do in the future.
Hopefully.
And hopefully to see great works from you.